Back at it. What's up, guys? Back at the pontoon build. It's been another week since I did some filming. I did do some work the past 2 days, and I just kind of didn't want to film it because it was just boring stuff. But now we're at a point where I kind of can show you what I've done, and I kind of had to recap it anyways because I did a bunch more PVC work with the actual panels. But now I left one assembled, and I still have to take it back apart. But I took one apart and wanted to just show you guys what it's going to look like. I'm going to glue all of them, or prime them and glue them with pipe glue now, just to ensure that nothing falls apart while we're tugging it through the swamp or tugging it through a marsh, whatever, because if you lose one of these pieces out there and you get to your spot, you're going to be maybe saying some bad words. So this looks like a mess, I know, but this is the one side disassembled, and I have them all labeled. And this is my idiotic way of like figuring out which one is which. So RRM means right, the right side, the right quadrant, the right arm, and it's the middle one. So like this one is the right side, right quadrant, but the bottom rung. So do whatever way you guys think you can remember it, but I highly suggest labeling them. And then that side over here is what it's going to look like once it's all back together. So I can show you guys. This will be one side of the blind once it's all grassed up and stuff. And I still got to put the waterproof fabric on there. And the reason I have this side still together is because I was off by like an inch and 3/4 in my measuring, and I wanted each side to be 32 inches, and then I measured and just forgot to subtract what the T's and the cross sections add on, which is an inch and 3/4. So that's on me. So I just have to go back on the other side and just the top. I'm just going to take the top was it 5 vertical pieces, snip them off an inch and 3/4, and then both sides will be exactly 32, and then we'll have a little bit of space in between for walking when we're out there, and then room for heads, room for shooting stuff. So alright guys, everything's glued together on this side at least. The only trouble I did have was, for some reason, I don't know why this one's bowed out so much. I don't know if this one didn't get pressed in all the way for some reason. It's not going to cause that much of a problem. I mean, everything's solid, so it's just going to be a little bit bowed out and mess with my OCD. So yeah, for people that I guess don't really know, this is just the pipe glue. So I will probably not film me taking the rest of the other side apart, and we'll just skip ahead to right now. Done. It's all glued, ready for a little bit of paint. Gonna just do the base coat on it today, like I was saying. One thing I didn't mention, I don't know, some of you guys might have caught up on it when I was putting them all together, but since I had some of these PVC pipes laying around from
frame that I used for an A-frame, since it had paint on it, I just took some 80 grit sandpaper and just went to town on all the ends, made sure that they were roughed up, because that glue, wherever it went, right there, needs something to bond to on that PVC. So yeah, roughed up the ends on every single piece that was painted. The new PVC pipe I didn't. If you guys are buying all new PVC pipe, you don't have to. Okay, now that we're off of hyperlapse, because I just went over this whole thing I'm about to say on hyperlapse, the base coat on these are done. Just kind of a quick overspray, get all that white off, and get the base color on. Again, this is just the base color, so it's not going to matter much. When I do the tune pattern, I'll just do a quick overspray. It's going to get covered with waterproof fabric, so it's not the end of the world if there's a tiny bit of white showing right now. Just make sure that everything's covered, so if a duck's flying over, geese are flying over, they're not coming in or like seeing inside the blind, seeing white by chance. Just a precaution. Well, if you guys haven't figured out, we're going to do some painting today. We got, actually I think I'm going to have to get a brush. Make sure that this is all cleaned down, because been mowing grass, you know. Been kicking stuff up on here a bit, so, and doing the floor, obviously. So, probably should brush this down. And then we got these templates. So I have struggled a few times with trying to get a template done for this, and so at first I wanted to do the Gore Optifade, kind of the Sika camo, as you guys have seen, and my girlfriend has a Cricut, and we tried to make it a couple times, and it was just not panning out the way it would work, just with the different holes that have to be weeded out and the different colors. It would have been so flimsy. It had been so hard. And to actually stencil the whole thing with like a stickable vinyl and then peel it off would have costed so much that it just wasn't worth what I wanted to really pay to do this. So, but we have figured something else out. So was scouring for different vintage camo designs and found one I liked, and then we actually made 3 different stencils that have different shapes on them, that it's all one shape, but then we had the Cricut cut them all out, and then I went back and taped in the shapes that I wasn't going to use for that specific color. So this is like, I have front and up, so these shapes will be like this dark color. And these are all the same cutouts. They all have every single shape that you see on every one. I have just went back and taped, like this shape right here is right here, but I went back and taped it so you can no longer see it. This shape is actually right here, but you can't see it because I've taped over completely. So the plan is to try and lay these Might have to tape them down, I think. We'll see how this is going to work. But let's start with one that has some on the top. Yeah, so this will be tucked up like that. I'm gonna have to tape the top, the sides, and then spray the first color, move it, take the second one, get it exactly lined up again, spray it with a different color, take it off, grab the last one, and then I will do that color, and then take it away. I'm gonna have to do this probably, well, it's 10-foot tunes and these are a foot wide, so at least 10 times down, possibly more. We'll see what it looks like after I get the first row done, because I'm not sure if I'm gonna do 2 rows, because you're not gonna see most of the bottom of the tune of it being in the water. And maybe I'll just take, like, once I do both sides and I want to do a little bit lower, maybe I'll just hold the template up and just do some odd shapes on the bottom. But yep, I'm gonna go get the brush and then we will start painting. Well, we got one side done, and expectations were up here. Reality was kind of down here. Did not work out quite the way I wanted it to. First of all, the beige was just for some reason super runny, so every time I sprayed it, it would just run down into the other colors. Nothing I can really do about it, so that kind of stinks. But I ended up having to, instead of taping each panel over each other, what I actually just ended up doing, which was a lot easier, had the paint not run, it probably would have turned out a lot better. But I just ended up taking the stencils and just putting them up against, the pontoon in my other hand with spray. So this is the one side, not awful, but could have been way better. And then I also painted my side lights and front spotlights as well. Just gave them a little coat. They should be under on the inside, hopefully, how it works out with the blind panels. But doesn't hurt just to give them a little something, because all those screws are chrome. So, but and the spotlights. And like I said, I stuffed a bunch of tape in there, so they should be fine. I'll pull tape at the end of the day. Once I get everything done painted, they should be dry enough to have the paint come off, or the tape come off. So, but let's get to that other side, and then I'll show you guys the finished product. Alright guys, finished the other side up. Basically got everything. This side actually turned out a lot better. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, so that side turned out a bit better, I think, just because I knew kind of what I was doing this time and knew distance to spray. And now we are going to start the floor, EVA foam. Make sure you got a sharp knife, I guess, and per instructions, I'm gonna try and clean this the best way I can. So I wrap my air compressor down here and just got my nozzle, and I'm gonna just give it a good spray down, and then make sure I got all of the kind of the rough edges, knocked down, so I don't have a problem with anything peeling up in the future. So that's the plan. We'll get to it. Alright guys, I thought I was on video before, but I think I was just on hyperlapse, so I'm not sure if I actually recorded or got any of the talking that I did done. But she's all done with the floor. Looks great. Flip this over. Yeah, it looks really good. The only thing that I had to do that was kind of hard was this first panel. When I put it in, I don't know if it's because when I pressed it down, if I like pulled the middle, but there was a little bit of a gap when I put the second sheet up to it. So what I did is I just ended up getting the back straight, getting all my cuts done, and then I actually came here and just ran my knife through the second sheet and just looked underneath it and ran my knife as I went and made basically a perfect seam. I mean, you can barely tell it's there, especially on camera. It just all looks like camo, which is great. So, yep, we're all done with that. We peeled the tape off the lights here. Got our decoy lights and our spotlights all painted, all good to go. Yeah, I think that's all that's left now really is finishing up the blind panels, really just putting that waterproof fabric on top. And I have a grommet gun, so I'm going to put grommets in or on the waterproof fabric and then be able to just zip tie all the way down, so then I'm not cutting or, cutting slits into the fabric and then it ripping future. So hopefully those grommets help a lot. So yeah, we'll get going on those blind panels, get the netting on there, and then start grassing it in when I can. But we're coming close to the season, a couple weeks away. Let's go. Okay. Got in my head that I was like, oh, I got to get some stuff done, blah, blah, blah. And then I totally forgot to even grab the camera and film this part, but I ended up getting the waterproof fabric all on. So I have a grommet gun. They're on Amazon. They're cheap. They're like $20. It comes with a bunch of grommets. I popped, I don't even know how many, probably close to 30 grommets in this fabric just to get it taut on here. And then it's just zip tied down. I mean, you could do wire if you wanted to. Zip ties are just cheap and easy for me. But yeah, so I did two around every single T where our cross beams are. Here, I can flip it up. So yeah, so I have a zip tie 2 at every top and bottom of a T. I have 1 in the middle and then 2 on every corner all the way down, so that when we're like this, or let's say that we get out there really early, you could even have them down like this and be laying under these panels and you'd be bone dry. So that's kind of the mind space behind that. Plus it fills in dead space behind all of the grass. So once you guys grass in, not saying that you shouldn't do a good grass job, but if you're in a rush or you're just worried about the birds seeing through, this is going to stop a lot of that light coming through or them seeing through the grass. So, well, in the middle of my introduction, no project is, complete without mistakes, which I've made quite a few on this one. But what I accidentally did, and I'm just going to show you guys so that, you guys don't make this mistake as well. So right here I have a 1-inch PVC pipe, okay? In my head, where is it? When I sized this, I had picked up a piece of 1-inch PVC pipe and shoved a 3/4 inch inside of it. Well, you can see it's not going inside of it. Well, that's because before I grabbed a thinner gauge to size it of a 1-inch. So this is a 1-inch PVC pipe, same as this, but the thickness is different. So that kind of sucks because now I have to go pick up a thinner walled 1-inch, I guess, and the store is closed now. So I guess I'm not going to do what I said I'm going to do today. But yeah, that's essentially, once I pick up a thinner walled 1-inch, this will be one panel. This will be the other panel. And then, mind you, remember, these are going to pivot whatever height you need it to be. And then you can put them in. And then I'm going to put them in as far as I can. And I'm going to clamp it down like here, let's say. And then I'm going to drill holes at different heights that I want the panels. I'm going to do that because I'm going to just use a hitch pin with, the clasp that comes over and locks it in place. I'm going to drill a hole where I can put a hitch pin through both, and it'll lock it at that, meaning my spreader bar will be that exact height for the blind panels. And it's important that you get a oversized T on it so that it'll pivot with whatever height you have the blind panels at, so that they will always stay level. They'll spread apart as you get the blind panels farther and farther up, but since I have an oversized one, it'll just keep going. It'll stay straight and then just spread apart. And I'll cut the beams on either side so that they can be as far apart as almost straight up and down with the panels, or they can be at our right height so that when we're sitting and hunting for the morning or evening, that they're going to be right above like our faces, so that we can kind of duck down right behind those panels and be able to see everything still as the ducks or geese come in, and we'll be good to go.
Well, guys, a little fast forward here, I guess, but it's done. It's all grassed in now. I know I kind of skipped a couple steps showing you guys what we did, but it's opener of teal tomorrow, so it's been kind of hectic around here, but grassed it in. I mean, just got a couple bald spots. I could probably throw some more in here, but just use a bunch of elephant grass that I got from my grassy marsh area. Not marsh, but weeds. So that's all done. And then, kind of hard to show you guys now, but the bracer system kind of had to modify a little bit. We just collected a bunch of grass, which is my least favorite part of the year, because my hands just get all sliced up and cut up. So a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this thing. So I hope things go smoothly on Sunday. Well, we got Joey out here today, fixing shit already on the old pontoon. I think we've nicknamed it the boom tune. The boom tune is ready for maiden voyage. We got everything loaded up. We got a few motion decoys, got a dozen and a half teal. Got her in the water. She's floating for the most part, we think. She's not sinking.
Not sinking.
So let's get out on the maiden voyage, and we're just push sticking today, no motor. But probably sometime this season we'll get after it, get a little trolling motor. But yeah, we'll catch you out there when we get to the spot and make an assessment.